Well, hello, online pipe community. This is Ethan, Parsimonious Piper. With whom am I speaking today?
Oh, this is the JerzPiper, Kevin.
Nice to have you on. Let's get this out of the way with. I often forget. What are you smoking and what are you smoking it in?
All right. Let me just get this off my screen here. I have Boswell's. Where's my jar? Boswell's Best, it's called. It's an aromatic in my Barling Bent Billiard.
Oh, nice. We're both going English today. I've got a BBB billiard, and in it I have Gatlin Burlier's No Local. So called because it doesn't have any local leaf, no Virginia, no Burley. From what I understand, it's Orientals and Latakia, and that's it.
Okay. Is that real spicy?
No, actually, it's really, really smooth.
Okay.
It's kind of sour from the Orientals, and smoky and creamy from the Latakia. It's really a very nice blend. I like it as a change of pace because Virginias bite me. Um, so it's nice. I I really like the stuff. It's fantastic.
Yeah. I just picked up some Virginia Perique blends, so I have to try. So hopefully I won't have a biting problem.
Well, vapors don't usually bite me. But that's mostly because I tend to go for vapors that have something else in them, like a Kentucky or a Cavendish core, or something like that, or
Okay.
an Oriental, just anything else besides just the Virginia Perique.
Mm.
Um, but well, so introduce yourselves to our my viewers here. Who are you? Where do you live? What do you do? What do you do for fun?
All right. Well, I'm in New Jersey, obviously the JerzPiper, and I live close to the shore, pretty much, within 10 miles, and
Nice,
been here for a long time. What's that?
nice.
Yeah, it's nice. It's been, so I've been married. We just celebrated a 37-year anniversary,
Wow.
November 9th. And so the kids are all grown up and they all moved out of here. So, but they still come to visit because they got to come here for the beach.
There you go.
And I'm in construction. Basically build these big, giant shore homes
Okay.
on the beach.
Yeah.
So
I know.
I got a nice office. Got a nice office view when I'm working.
Must be. I know driving along the Outer Banks here in North Carolina, some of the big beach homes are pretty amazing.
Yeah. Here, I guess it's a bit of a controversy because people have been here for a while. They don't like the change, and a lot of the little bungalows are coming down, and they're building, as they call them, McMansions.
Right.
It's been a fairly good living for me. But I'm a little sore. I got some sore aches and stuff, but and so hobby wise, I've been this is kind of a new hobby, right? And the joke is with my wife is that every 6 months I'm into something new. So I'm hoping this is gonna last longer.
A little longer than
and she's
that.
always busting me. I got to sell stuff from my last hobby to help fund the new hobby. And
so you've been at
so
this
I had just gotten into Civil War reenacting. What's that, Ethan?
You've been at this less than a year then?
So I started. Oh yeah, well I just started late August.
Okay.
I think it was like August 22nd, somewhere around the 20s. I know I have some tobacco I jarred and I dated it. That's the reason why I know. And in last year, well, we learned that my wife has a great great grandfather that fought in the Civil War from Pennsylvania. So we went out to see his names on the Pennsylvania monument there. And I ran into some reenactors, and I had always thought about it. And then I talked to these guys. They happened to be from New Jersey. And so I ended up joining up with those guys. And a lot of the guys smoked cigars, and then I seen a few guys were smoking pipes. So I was just like, well, that'd be kind of cool to work into my, my persona. And I just figured, well, I have no idea how to smoke. I've never smoked anything. I'm like, how do you smoke and not inhale? I'm like, had no clue, right? I watched somebody's video. They were like, well, you can drink through a straw and not swallow the water. But when I went on to YouTube, I didn't realize, I figured I'm just going to learn some pointers. I didn't realize there was a whole YouTube community. And wow, and the wealth of information. I watched for about 3.5 weeks. I watched the videos, and I actually purchased 2 little tiny clay pipes from a Civil War sutler's shop. And I'm like, oh yeah. And of course, most of the guys I've seen were just smoking briars, and I've seen some pictures for bigger pipes. Of course, in my introduction video, I'm like, how the heck am I going to smoke this little clay thing? It's just uncomfortable. And so I finally bought a pipe, got some tobacco, and I actually had it for a while. And me and the wife were sitting at the fire pit. She's like, you gonna smoke that pipe more these days? And I'm like, well, I was kind of apprehensive about the first, light up. And I'm like, that's it, I'm getting it. And so like 3 months later, I probably got like 7 pipes, and I got probably already enough tobacco to last me a year.
Yeah, that happens pretty easily. It's easy to accumulate stuff quickly. So when you're doing your reenactments, are you still sticking to smoking clays or cobs, or have you do you smoke briars there too now?
Yeah, because most of we're mostly smoking the briar, because I've been to a couple of events, and you're kind of on, the show was on, from 10 to 3 when the public's there. And then there's always after hours, and we usually camp out, and it's your free time. That's pretty much when everybody's breaking out, because your cigar or your pipe, hanging around the campfire. Because once you're up and moving, you get your rifle and stuff. There's really, it hasn't worked for me yet. I think if we were like just hanging out in camp during, the time you're supposed to be in character, probably something that didn't look, or if you had a briar that looked kind of the part, most people probably wouldn't even know.
No, they wouldn't,
because people just see pipes as old-fashioned stuff.
Right. Yeah.
And from what I heard up north, Union troops, probably a lot of those guys didn't even have corn cobs.
No, probably a lot.
They would have had a clay pipe. So one of these days, I'm going to smoke one of those pipes. They're supposed to be smokable. So just to try it.
Clays are actually great. I use a clay for tasting new blends and components because they don't ghost, so you don't taste the last bowl that you smoked. You get a nice pure taste. Now the problem with clays is they run hot. Oh yeah, hot.
Yeah, I can imagine, because the briar can get warm. The clay,
you hold the clay by the stem, not by the bowl. The bowl can get blistering hot.
Wow. I'm gonna have to try it just for the heck of it. I'll shoot a video of me doing it.
Yeah, that would be that would be great.
Yeah, so I'm still learning, and I got some English blends, some aromatic blends, and the more videos to watch, the more reviews you see, the more you're like, well, I'll try that one, I'll try this one. So and I've really been busy, so I've really only been smoking on the weekend. So it's taken me a while. I'm not like some guys have the time to maybe smoke 2 or 3 bowls a day or whatever.
Right.
And and I was trying to ease into it, because I didn't want the wife to see me go from like never smoking to smoking pipes every time she turns around. So
sure,
I try not to be too crazy about it, but it's been very enjoyable and different. Guys at work think I'm nuts, but a couple of them are interested. I bet you if I bought them like little cob starter kits, they would give it a try.
I bet they would. I bet they would.
My son was even interested. He was looking at it.
Well, any of them that are interested in cigars, and that seems to be, that's the trendy thing on the golf course and everything, is
Yeah.
to have a cigar. I would think that at least being interested in what a pipe has to offer and how it differs, that would seem
Mm.
natural to me. Uh, that
Yeah.
that I
I
would
had a friend
be
on
curious.
Facebook, and he'd seen I was doing a pipe, and he's like, "Oh, they're too much work. That's why I just smoke a cigar." And I'm like,
Well,
"Well, that's that's part of it, I guess." Yeah, if you're playing
yeah.
golf, smoking a cigar is probably easier.
Yeah. Well, and they do take more attention, but to me, that's part of the charm and the
Yeah,
relaxation of the hobby, is tending to it. Uh,
yeah,
you know, I don't mind tamping and that sort of thing, and having to learn how to pack it. And yeah, with the cigar, part of what you're paying for is somebody else's expertise in rolling the thing.
yeah.
Uh,
They
you know, from what I understand, your better,
somebody else did all the work.
yeah, your better cigars are rolled better as well. And well, yeah, you're paying for that. Here, you
Hmm.
kind of have to learn to to do it yourself. you know,
Yeah, I've been learning. I had my best luck with this pipe though. Like I tried to. I'm having. I'm getting a lot of tongue bite with the cobs, and but this one I keep coming back. I like this even. I have a barley straight billiard, but
yeah.
I don't know. This one works good. How long have you been smoking the pipe there?
Only a few years, actually.
Okay.
Not really very long. One of my friends, or my son's friends, uh, kind of got me intrigued by it. Oh, maybe 4 years ago. Um, and he was smoking a cob, and I thought, cigars are so expensive, but I saw all this variety of pipe tobacco when I would be in a store. Let's give it a shot. And so that's what got me into it, was just
Mhm.
seeing my son's friend, college age friend, enjoying it so much. Uh, so I blame him.
Yeah. Well, you got the whole tin art and stuff going on.
Hmm.
That's why some I looked at. Some companies have some nice, artwork on the tins, and then like some companies just nope, they just have their name on there and that's it. I'm like, oh come on, be a little creative.
Well, and some of the older tins, before they had to start putting the European and California warnings on there, uh, some of the tin art really was pretty fantastic. Uh,
Hmm.
so
Yeah,
in
I guess a thing that's going away.
well, yeah, like
Kind of like
everything,
album cover art.
like everything enjoyable in life, somebody hates it enough to legislate against it. Uh,
Yeah.
there's a woke scold somewhere that doesn't want you doing it just because it's fun. So in the few months that you've been doing this, have you started gravitating toward any particular pipe brands or shapes?
I think I like this shape. Um, I did pick up a Briarworks that's basically this shape.
The
It's a
bit
little was their classic. I forget what it is. It's not a billiard, it's more of a big apple. It's bigger than this one. It's got a nice chunk.
Oh, like an author shape.
Yeah. I should have brought some of them out here with me, but I didn't. But the so far I like this. Like when I'm looking at pipes, I'm kind of looking at more of this bent shape than I am the straight now.
Yeah,
But
I like a very
yeah.
gentle bend. Um, I'm not the deeper bends don't interest me nearly as much. I know some guys like that, a full bend like that, or even a true full bend like an Umpal or
Yeah.
Hungarian shape.
I seen those. I'm like, that's I don't know, that's a little too much.
Yeah, I like my stem, if it's gonna have a bend, just to barely,
Hmm.
barely have a slight curve to it. I like to be able to get a pipe cleaner through it if I have to, while it's hot, without worrying about it. And I always get just a little antsy about trying to get a pipe cleaner through a bent, you know,
Hmm.
a deeper bend. If it's drilled well, that's not an issue, but you know,
Hmm.
it's just something that's always kind of made me a little leery of deeper bends. They sure look nice though.
Yeah. I was looking at some Christmas pipes. I think Savinelli had it. I think it's just a Prince apple, and it's a slight bend to it.
Yeah. Yeah,
I didn't.
the Prince has
I
a
was
real gentle bend.
able to fight off the Christmas pipe binge. So I'll probably get one of them just to have a couple different shapes. It's like the marketing in pipe tobacco is crazy. Limited time, going on sale at 6 o'clock tonight.
Yeah, no, I don't chase those limited release blends at all. I with only, there have been a couple of exceptions, but for the most part, I just don't. There are so many good bulk blends out there that I don't even buy tins anymore. I just buy things that I can find in bulk.
Yeah, it makes sense. And I was thinking too, because I put a lot of stuff like in jars as soon as you open it anyway.
Yeah.
And so I did buy some stuff, and I was at a Boswell, so you could buy their blends in bulk.
Right.
They sell them in tins, but well, you can get a lot more tobacco just buying in bulk.
Yep, you sure can. Well, you're not paying for heavy packaging. It does make a difference.
Mm-hmm.
It certainly does.
But
so of the different,
I got something to buy something.
Of the different kinds of blends that you've tried so far, what are you finding yourself liking the most?
I kind of right now I'm liking both of them. I have some aromatics I like, and then I have the English sampler from Boswell's.
Yeah.
So the countryside I liked. I did Magnum blend was pretty good, and so I'm still working through them. So I haven't got to Northwoods yet because I heard everybody says that's good, and I've been trying to work through. And I know just from reading about them, some of them are going to be stronger. I did Military Force, and I didn't like that one too much.
One I haven't had.
So the countryside though was as good as everybody said.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not at that point where I can really dissect it. It's like kind of like, do I like it? Is it pleasurable? Am I smoking fine? I'm not getting tongue bite, and it smells good.
Mm-hmm.
Light's easy. I think only with I had the Lane BCA, I had trouble keeping that lit. I think that just was, it was a little damp right from the start. I haven't really got into the, dry it out a little bit yet. It's like, all right, I got an hour to smoke a pipe. Let's go.
Yeah, that can get crazy.
You have to plan ahead, and I'm not really at that point yet.
Boswell's is now. I have not had their aromatics, but I've had a few of their English blends, and boy, they do English blends really well.
Yeah. Well, this best is an aromatic, because I picked up. I was there yesterday, so I picked up this one. I had to get Christmas cookie, and just because it's Christmas. Right. And I got and they have one called No Bite Delight. I haven't tried that one yet.
That's another popular one. Mm-hmm.
But I heard good things about this, and this is good. But I can see switching it up. If you smoke an aromatic, a pipe bowl or two, and then go to an English, to kind of break it up.
Mm-hmm.
I have Autumn Evening, and when I first smoked that, I was like, oh, I like it. It's good, And then I smoked another bowl like 3 weeks later after a bunch of other stuff, and then I didn't feel like I liked it as much. Well, I can't explain why, but it didn't. Unless, as it goes by, the more I smoke, I'm getting more different tastes and flavors.
Mm-hmm.
My uneducated synopsis.
It could have been the pipe you were smoking it in, or what you had for lunch that day. I mean, there's all kinds of things that can affect whether a particular blend tastes the same from one smoke to the next.
Mm-hmm.
I know Autumn Evening is a pretty popular aromatic. I'm not big into aromatics, but I do know a lot of guys like Autumn Evening.
Yeah, I watch so many videos, and it's kind of, in one sense, it's kind of confusing because some people are like, start with an aromatic. Some people are like, no, don't start with an aromatic. They're hard to light, and and in the end, I ended up getting 1Q, which
Uh,
sounds like is the most popular, and
yeah.
it wasn't bad.
Well,
Um,
1Q is almost an exception with aromatics though, because
yeah,
it is easy to light and it stays lit pretty well. A lot of aromatics smoke wet, they smoke hot. Um, and even if they taste good, they wind up being more trouble than a lot of people like. 1Q is different. 1Q is one of the few aromatics that I really like. But yeah, it burns much more easily than a lot of your goopy wet aromatics, and a lot of
yeah,
your lanes do smoke wet. So 1Q being a lane and still smoking pretty well, it's a nice exception.
yeah. It's definitely smoked better than the BCA.
Mm-hmm.
And but when I first started researching, I was figuring I was going to be drawn to English. It just seemed more like, I don't know, the natural tobacco, like
Yeah.
would have been back in the day. You just got some leaves and you put it together. You weren't, I can't imagine in the 1800s they were putting casings and toppings on tobacco.
Well, they've always used sugar.
I don't know. Yeah, and that's almost some of it's natural occurring, right?
No, I mean there's been a use of a sugar or molasses casing on tobacco for a really long time, uh,
Okay.
mostly to tone it down and sort of as a preservative. Um, but yeah, that doesn't come out necessarily in the flavor. Every tobacco that you ever smoke has been cased, every pipe tobacco, but that doesn't mean it has a flavoring added. The various formulations of sugar water and molasses water, that kind of thing, are used mostly to make really rough tobaccos palatable.
Mm-hmm.
I was fortunate a couple of years ago to get a big bag of homegrown burley from one of the other YTPCers. And I got to tell you, I love burley, but this stuff was just air and sun cured, no casing at all. The
Okay.
way if you bought burley from one of the blending houses, um, and that's rough stuff. As much as I like burley, I got to tell you that was on the edge for me. I liked the flavor, but it was a little harsh sometimes, without having any casing in it. Um, I'm
Hmm.
not sure if I grew my own, whether I would have to
Yeah.
learn to case the tobaccos before I actually did something with them or not, because that was eye opening. The
Huh.
most definitely caught my attention. So what got you into? You said something about looking at instructional videos on YouTube, but what pulled you into the YTPC as a video community, so to speak?
Yeah. Well, I'm kind of crazy YouTuber to start with, so
Okay.
I actually have another channel that well, my wife was involved with it, but I did all the videos, and she popped in once in a while. Um, in 2015, we bought a sailboat, and so at the time I was watching all these sailboat YouTubers, which is really big, you know, and so I'm like, oh heck, I could do YouTube videos of me fixing a boat up, and so I started a channel then, and since then we sold that sailboat, bought another sailboat, sailed it, did other kind of travel stuff and trips, and then sold the sailboat. And so that channel kind of evolved over time. I actually haven't done much content for that. So as soon as I seen YouTube videos about pipes, I'm like, well, heck, this is made for me. So
Yeah.
um, um, my other channel I think has like 1,200 subscribers.
So
Um,
you're a new pipe presenter, but you're not a new YouTube presenter. You've been doing this a while.
yeah, yeah.
Well,
So that's what I was thinking about it yesterday. I drove 3.5 hours to do the meetup at Boswell's,
yeah,
but I've driven 6 hours down to Virginia to do a sailboat meetup before, so to have lunch.
sure.
It's actually nothing crazy that I haven't done before. And these are actually easier to do. When I was doing it, when the sailboat was parked in the driveway, that was pretty good. But once you start getting on the water and going to locations, it's easy to come out in my shed, shoot a video. Logistically, my old channel changed from sailing to kind of just outdoors. And I have a 4-wheel drive, and I was going to do more like off-roading, surf fishing and stuff, but I found the logistics of actually shooting videos was difficult, and I've kind of let the channel fall behind. I'm surprised there's still subscribers there.
Okay, I gotta ask because I've got a 4x4 too. What do you drive?
I picked up a 2011 Xterra Pro 4X.
We have a 2012.
There you go.
Love it.
I was looking, funny story is, like, this is our second Xterra. So when we bought an Xterra, the wife's like, I guess it was a while ago, 2009, I forget now. She's like, you're not getting 4-wheel drive. And so we were blowing the AAA. She did a search. Boom, they found a 2-wheel drive Xterra. Shipped it in from Pennsylvania, and we bought it. And we basically drove that thing. It had 213,000 miles on it when I got rid of it. And I always make fun. I'm like, I'm the only person. Most people didn't even realize they made a 2-wheel drive Xterra. And she said, you're going to take it off road and wreck it. And so forever, she got a new car. She got a Honda Passport or whatever. And I'm like, I want to get a Jeep, And so I was looking at Jeeps, but gosh, for the price of Jeeps, it's like ridiculous. And for the Jeep, and then everybody has a Jeep, and then everyone's them all the time. And so I'm like, why is Jeep so popular, but they're not very reliable? I'm like, I'm going to get another Xterra. So she actually found this one, and I got a pretty good price before all the used car prices went crazy a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And so we drive around, they have a couple state forests here. You can get off road. I've been on the beach fishing with it, because the beach, you can go on the beach in the wintertime, get permit to go surf fishing.
Yeah.
I've lifted it up, put bigger tires on it, put a winch on it. That's where I was spending all my money before I got into Civil War reenacting, and then that took my money, and then now I'm into pipes.
Yeah. Our Pro 4X is stock in terms of the lift and everything. We've got a bull bar on it, and this is our second Pro 4X too. And the first one I got rear-ended really hard by a bigger pickup truck, and totaled it. So I've got a bull bar back on it. I need to get the winch installed here before Christmas, hopefully, but need to get a winch installed on it. We love my wife is actually the one. See, I'm married well. My wife is the one who wanted a 4x4. When we moved here from Arizona, she said, she saw this stuff about driving on the beach and seeing the wild horses. And I said, you got to have a 4x4. She said, buy one.
Yeah, right. Like, you can't argue with that.
No, you can't.
I think my selling point, I wanted to get a motorcycle, and so she wasn't keen on that, and so it was easy for me to sell the 4-wheel drive.
Now, see, I had motorcycles for almost 30 years. So she was much happier with the 4x4. I still have one bike in the garage. Yeah. I haven't ridden it in a couple of years since I got the Miata. But yeah, so she's much happier with the 4x4 than a bike.
Yeah. The Xterra is nice. It's a nice size, got a good steering radius. Like, I see some of these 4-door Jeeps, they're pretty bulky after a while.
Well, and it's got a 4.5 liter 6.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's what she was going to get, a CRV, and I'm like, we got to get something but at least 6 cylinders, because say you want to tow something someday.
Yeah.
And so we ended up getting a passport. And well, driving out to Boswell's, I use a lot of fuel.
Yes.
I drove that thing out there.
Yeah.
She's like, "You're not taking my car and coming back smelling like smoke." I'm like,
yeah. No, that's where
I got like,
they're good.
because I got like almost like a mud terrain tire on there, so that thing hums
I bet
down the road.
We've got the KO2 all terrain.
I had those.
We've been happy with them.
I couldn't even when I watched some YouTube videos on how to put a lift kit on, and I was going to tackle it myself, and I'm like, I don't have the time. So there's a local shop that does that kind of work, and like, I'm glad I didn't, because the thing would have been on blocks in my driveway for weeks probably. Trying to work on it, and I don't have the right equipment if you get a rusty bolt and this and that, and the guys are like, well,
right.
You're changing this. I had lower control arms. They're like, well, you might as well, the upper control arms can't come off without cutting them off. And of course the price grew.
Right.
And then I couldn't even tell you what tires I have right now, because while it was in the shop, the guys had a Nissan Frontier in there, and they ordered rims and tires, and the guy backed out, and he's like, well, I can sell them to you at cost.
Oh,
and so
I would take it.
That's how I got them, because I told her, I'm like, but I lifted it, and I know the tires are going to look a little, and so these rims kind of help offset out a little bit. And I'm like, told me, well, pay now, pay later. We can get a deal on these, and probably when I get the car back, I'm going to look at it and be like, oh, now I need some wheels and tires.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so the money spent, so it's paid off. So it's nice about buying something used.
Now, do you do any overlanding in it?
No. Then that's where I thought that other channel was going to go, but I really haven't had the time. And then my granddaughter was born, and then my daughter bought a house. So and my son and daughter-in-law have a house. So I become, grandpa handyman, and so I've been having fun with that. And so it hadn't been any time for overlanding camping.
Yeah, we haven't done any yet. I've just been starting to watch some videos to learn what kind of equipment I may want to invest in.
Yeah, it seems like one of the big things people go for those rooftop tents, and a lot of people like. I think same thing. That sales get you to buy all kinds of stuff.
I don't want the drag of anything on my rooftop.
Yeah, and how often are you actually using that? So you're driving around with it all the time to go shopping or wherever.
Yeah, I don't want the drag of anything bigger than my my dig out rails and shovel on my rooftop. That's all I want up there.
No, we've been thinking about getting a little teardrop trailer.
Yeah,
because my wife really is not. She's like, I'd be in a teardrop camper, like off the ground, but she really want to be in a tent on the ground. Yeah.
Have you seen they are a couple of manufacturers make a teardrop trailer. I can't talk today. A teardrop trailer. There we go. That's got an off-road suspension.
Yeah.
To where you can at least take them on fire roads and things like that. You may not go rock crawling with your trailer, but you can at least get them,
And I should know the name of that company because we've looked them up. I forget what it is now. They're not cheap though.
Oh man, are they not cheap?
No, but they're nice because it's basically, it basically just crawl in. It's a bed, and the back pops up, and there's your kitchen.
Yep.
That's all I need. I don't need a motor home. I'll stay home. Yeah. You're supposed to be camping.
Yep. No, I've been looking at a couple of guys that have shown plans where they built plywood platforms with storage underneath them, and you can put a full-size mattress, a memory foam type mattress on top of the plywood to make a decent sleeping platform. I've been looking at something like that to build, to slide into the back of the Xterra.
Yeah, I know some guys I work with a guy who has he's into mountain biking, So he bought a Honda Odyssey and basically gutted it and built like a bunk bed in there with storage, and he's got so he could put his bikes inside. And he bought this, so it's better on fuel, and he could sleep in it.
Yeah.
But that's like, that's a whole nother YouTube world. People living in vans and stuff.
Right. And
another subculture.
Yep. It's amazing what they can do with them. But no, I do enjoy. I finally got a. Is it OnX, the off-road GPS app? I finally went ahead and downloaded that for my iPhone, and we did some playing around with it when we were up on the Shenandoah Parkway, the Skyline Drive, a few weeks ago, and used it to find some good dirt roads. And yeah, that's a useful thing. I'm going to have to play around with that a whole lot more, and get us off the pavement again. Yeah, since our last one was totaled and we don't have a winch, we we're not going to do anything that's rated more than beginner or barely moderate, until we get a winch back on it.
Yeah, out here our big problem is if you're on a trail, deep puddles, and like there's a whole Facebook page, I forget, it was stuck in the mud and snow, and basically people get stuck, post on there, and people come out, people in the area, they'll come find you, because there could be some deep holes.
Yeah,
it's not because we don't have rocks or anything like that, but you get these holes filled with water, and they could be a foot deep or it could be 3 foot deep, and especially some bigger trucks put ruts in there and get caught in a rut.
Yeah,
but I got that Wham hidden bumper I put on the front. It worked pretty good. I haven't finalized how I want to do the controller yet, so right now it's kind of, I just keep wrapped up and it's kind of hidden under the hood.
Yeah,
because I didn't want to commit to putting a hole somewhere. That was the only problem I had with it. Hindsight being 2020, I would have got a remote controller,
right,
so I don't have to plug it in all the time. But I already blew the budget, so I'm living with what I have. But it's there in case you're out by yourself. Like everybody here says, don't go out alone anyway.
Right.
And but it's always hard to find somebody, and it's like, well, I kind of have a couple trails that I know, and I know we're safe. If you want to just get off the road for a few hours and not be worried that we'll be calling a tow truck to get home or something.
Right. But yeah, it's easy to find yourself axle deep in something.
Yeah. And I have that. I have a pump to air down, so when I air down to go on the beach, I can pump back up. And I got a high lift jack, and I still have rock sliders I bought that I didn't put on yet. So that's a project I got to finish up.
Well, circling back to pipes.
Yeah, rabbit trail.
Yeah, I get sucked into it too. What were the early or the first channels that got you sucked into the YTPC?
Yeah, I think actually I think one of the first one was the Suburban Pilgrims. I don't know if you heard of him.
I have not.
Yeah, and I think he does video for a living, because the way he does his videos are very entertaining. I think he's got off a little track lately. He's expanded his channel to get more into current events and stuff. But that led me to the Pipe Cottage.
Great guy.
I could just put his video on and listen to him.
Yeah.
I don't know how many times I've watched, there's two videos, the reason for Savinelli and the reason for Peterson pipes.
Right.
And he's got that great Southern accent.
He does. It's
and
deep.
then, of course, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was
of course there's Mutton Chop.
Yeah.
Mutton Chop, and then I've been over the Pipe Nook with Eddie Gray and Spurgeon Piper. I don't even want to name them. I'll probably leave somebody out if I try to name them. There must have been, I was just like amazed that like and going over real basic stuff, how to even begin
Mm-hmm.
and what to get. And I was just like, every day coming home from work, get done dinner, be like on YouTube, finding new videos, which was good. I mean, I probably would have never even picked up a pipe if I had to just go and buy a pipe and do it all on my own. You know,
I would have
I
given
mean,
up.
I guess back in the day, guys knew guys, you know, to show them what to do.
Yeah, you did. And if I had to figure it out on my own, I probably would have. The first time I burnt my tongue, I just said I'm done. You know, that's it.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It was. I was like, and at that point, because I've already watched sailing channels and overlanding channels, and
Right.
like, you know, the Appalachian Trail, like every winter, coming out of the winter, like February, I started watching everybody's channel that's getting ready to hike the Appalachian Trail, and I got sucked into that. And I've done a little hiking, but I'm not in shape to do anything like that. But I mean, if you're interested in something, there's a channel on YouTube for it.
There is, most definitely. Well, last couple of questions.
All right.
Um, and I'll throw them at you together so you have time to think about it while you're answering one. Are what do you like the most about the YTPC, and do you have any parting words for our viewers?
All right. Well, it's just everybody is so helpful, and I mean, I just went to this meetup the other day with 4 guys I only know from watching them through a video, and we were hanging out like we were buddies, you know, for a while, and that's hard to come by, even in the sailing channels. There's, I think, even the big channels in the YTPC are still like you could connect with them.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas sailing, you know, I don't know if anybody watched sailing, but you got these big guys that are sailing. You know, people are giving them $1 million yachts to sail, so they do YouTube videos. Like, you really, it's kind of hard to hobnob with them people or even be friendly. But yeah, this is a totally different experience. Um, and then even to come on here and then be part of it and do videos, like, you know, I guess there's some entertainment value, at least in my videos, or somebody newer than me's coming along.
Well, actually,
And,
I think it's neat watching somebody who's new to it, just as they expand and try new things.
yeah, I didn't even expect it to get this far, because I figured, oh, I'll make videos. I got to start a separate channel for this. It'll just be for pipe stuff, you know. And I'll put together a couple videos showing me get started, just to get my foot in the door and get myself known, and just kind of snowballed from there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And nah, and I would encourage people. Like, I was watching videos on the pipe show out in Vegas and stuff. It'd be nice if they start having some closer up here in the Northeast. I heard they were telling me they used to have one in Richmond.
Yeah,
Virginia.
we did last year, not this year.
Yeah, but I think that's what's neat about the community. You could be all parts of the country, but then there's opportunities to get together, and I think that's the key. Like, actually shake people's hands and share a meal with them, share a pipe. That was kind of cool being at Boswell's. I've been smoking by myself, and to kind of sit up in the room. They got these big leather lounge chairs.
Yeah.
And just 5 guys smoking pipes, sharing different tobaccos and stories, and relaxing. I could have never imagined this from watching my first YouTube video on pipe smoking. This is where I'd be. Even my wife's like, "You're doing an interview?" I'm like, "Yeah, well, why not?"
An interview, yeah. It's a chat.
Yeah, it's not really an interview. It's like I'm sitting right across the table from you. The magic of the internet.
That it is. It really is.
Well,
but, did you have?
I just say people keep hanging out, and hopefully YouTube don't shut us all down.
Yeah, hopefully not. Well, I tell you what, I have thoroughly enjoyed our afternoon chat here.
Thanks.
Thanks for coming on. This has been a lot of fun, and it's always good to find a fellow 4x4 enthusiast who
Yeah, not
happens to
too many
also.
people have X-Terrors.
That's
That's
right.
for sure.
It's all Jeep and Toyota 4Runners
Yeah.
out there.
When I'm driving down the road, we're going on a trip with the wife. I'm always like, X-Terror, X-Terror.
Yeah.
Of course, I have my eye on those new Broncos.
Oh well, yeah, those are awfully nice looking.
But yeah, they're nice to look at right now.
Yeah, I'm not ready to drop that for one of
Yeah,
those.
it's kind of crazy what new vehicles cost now.
It is, but
Almost what I paid for my house when I bought it in '93. What cars cost now?
yeah, it's incredible, truly incredible.
Yeah.
But
well,
thanks
Ethan,
again.
thanks for the honor here. For
It's been a lot of fun.
taking me on here.
I'll tell everybody what I tell them every video. Yeah, get together with somebody you like. In a case like this, just set up a Zoom call or a FaceTime call. You don't have to record it like I did, and light something you like. Enjoy your afternoon.
Yeah.